Hey there, welcome to ATL and 29, a podcast that looks at the NBA from the starting point of Atlanta. My name is Kevin Chouinard. I'm here tonight with Tyler Jones, and we are recording not too long after the dramatic conclusion of Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Oh my God, what the heck was that?
Uh, uh, Adam Silver, gotta give him credit, man. I was berating Silver in the first half. Thought the script was a little too obvious, but he was just setting us up for the second. No, but in all seriousness, it felt like the Spurs offense. Like I was just listening inside the NBA first like 2 minutes or whatever, and Charles, I thought is absolutely correct where he felt like the Spurs let go of the rope. Basically, they let go of the rope in the second half, particularly on offense. It was a lot of like YOLO three shots. Like they were just taking YOLO threes. Now those YOLO threes were going in the first half, and like that kind of ballooned the lead because they couldn't miss. They were taking all the YOLO threes. Regression to the mean happened in the second, and they could never get back into their flow offensively. Like their best offense is Wemby at the rim, right? And it just felt like they couldn't get back to that just based on maybe Wemby's energy level. Like he's playing a lot of minutes in these playoffs, and he's pretty consistently like has to me it just feels like he has dead legs in these second halves and late. And so like I think the Knicks really took advantage of that on both ends of the floor uh, with him. But it's kind of what I talked about earlier, previewing this series where outside of Wemby, they don't really have another big. You know, Karl Anthony Towns gets two fouls within the first minute of the game. Absolutely changes the dynamic of the basketball game.
The second
I,
foul was so bad. So
I
bad.
mean, the first foul is like they haven't called that all series, but
Right.
whatever. The second foul is like at some point you have to punish Wemby for reaching. Like he should not. It is a massive competitive advantage if he's just allowed to reach and it not go uncalled. Like if you're gonna call the foul, you got to call the first foul where he reaches, cat catches him, and then he does hook him. Like he does hook him for a second, but he lets him go. Like I'm like, come on, guys. Like this is basketball. I just don't. For them to call the hook and not the first reach, just felt egregious to me. Like if you're going to call the foul, like all right, no free throws. That's fine, but it's still a foul on Wemby. Like his hand shouldn't be there. And then he had an opportunity to take his hand away. Like Carl didn't keep up the hook through the process. So like I just think, I mean, but that foul, like in a larger point, that foul absolutely changed the dynamic of the game. Um, meant more Mitch Robinson, which really hurts the Knicks on offense, combined with only playing one ball handler in Jalen Brunson, and like the Knicks offense just went to a screeching halt. Meanwhile, defensively, I think they got a little out of sorts with the threes being made. Like I think the jump shots and the threes the Spurs were making kind of threw the Knicks for a little bit of a loop a little bit, and they let some easy stuff go. I thought Brunson was terrible defensively, particularly in the first half, like just absolutely horrendous. He was way better in the second half. Like
Yeah.
everybody was better in the second half, but in the first half, he was just not. He wasn't giving his teammates a chance. So like overall, the Spurs, it's at the same like it's understandable their shot selection just because they don't really have much else. Like they need these Dylan Harpers and Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama to take these open 3 pointers when they're not good 3 point shooters. And so when that regression happens, when you're missing defensive rebounds, leads to transition buckets, leads to easy offense for the Knicks on the other team, fuels their efficiency, and now you're in a negative feedback loop and you can't get out of it. So I mean, I think the Knicks really took advantage of the Spurs' shortcomings, primarily being like, you're paying De'Aaron Fox a lot of money to be an average NBA starting point guard. I mean, that's just the reality of what he is. He used to be better than this, but we can say maybe he's a little bit banged up. I do believe some of that is true, but like age hits these guards hard. Once they lose their athletic competitive advantage, it's tough for them. And so, like with Fox, you know, you got two guys in Castle and Harper who are very good at what they do, which is getting downhill, but they're not good shooters. Justin Champagny is their best shooter, and Devin Vassell also is a good shooter as well. Those are
Yeah.
their shooters, but Vassell's okay on defense. Champagny's like a train wreck sneakily,
Right.
and he's getting them burnt, but they can't score without Champagny in the game. Relying on Keldon Johnson is just it's getting them. The Spurs bench is bad. The Knicks have plenty of options. Like they're getting nothing for Deuce McBride. All right, I'll park Deuce McBride. I'm getting nothing from Landry Shamet. All right, I'll park Landry Shamet. We're getting nothing from Mikal Bridges. All right, I'll park Mikal Bridges until I find that one basketball player is going to give me what we needed. And tonight it was Jose Alvarado took away the Spurs' ability to trap
Yep.
high on Jalen Brunson, who's a bad passer. So now all he has to do is make the simple read to Jose. Jose's getting them into their offense. Easy shot after easy
Yeah.
shot after easy shot. These are
Correct.
practice shots for OG Anunoby. Cat's getting them in rotation now. He's making the right play. Like it's good. It's good process for them, and like that might be the death sentence because the Spurs may not have a counter to the Knicks counter like that. Because like they're doing a lot of pre-switching. They're doing a lot of all right. We're gonna have Wemby start on Cat, and then we're gonna pre-switch early. But now if there's another ball handler, particularly who's better at getting the ball up the floor quicker, Knicks getting in their offense faster. They get better process. They have better shooters, guys who are comfortable taking contested or uncontested open shots compared to what the Spurs are, and like the Knicks were able to come back and win this one.
I thought it was important how much they played Wembanyama, and they just went away from Cornette. And of course, Cornette's not good, but they burned Wemby out.
Yep.
And I think that was part of the difference between the first half shooting and the second half shooting. Because in the first half, like the Spurs get their best 3-point looks when they run pick and roll with Wemby, have Wemby rolling to the basket. The help you have to help, you have to tag, you have to help. It sucks in the defense, and then those threes are there
Yep.
because you're helping on Wemby's roll. Well, when you overextend him in the second half, he gets these lazy legs, these rolls, they're not as frequent, they're not as forceful. And so you're getting kind of dog crap threes instead of the good threes that they were getting in the first half. Not to mention that Wemby just looked completely vaporized like the last 3 minutes, missing the free throws. Like he didn't really have that juice the last 5 minutes because they played him 23 minutes in the second half. That's not a good recipe for him. Like you're not going to be able to sustain a run when he's got no legs and the Knicks are rallying. So
And like
you go
and
ahead.
compare that to Cat. Like Cat's in foul trouble, but Mike Brown knows he can't play Cat's consecutive minutes, so many consecutive minutes in a row. Like he's in foul trouble in the in the second half. You would think, all right, he's just going to play the whole second half or whatever. No, he still takes him out with the regular rotation. Still takes out with the regular rotation, and like that's a massive swing. Like Cat still has fresh legs to close, and he can get away with it because he can throw an OG at center if he needs to. He can go with Mitch Robinson. If Mitch's not doing anything, all right, I'll get Jeremy Sohan out here. Was Sohan good? No,
No.
but like it's an option. It's an
Yeah.
option, right? And like it's kind of. I mean, the reality of the situation is this for the Spurs. Knicks have been absolutely dominant when Cat's on the floor. Like he was again in a game they were down 29 points. He's a plus what 16, 17 on the game. They have no real answer for him. You, they can take. He might not be averaging whatever. That doesn't matter. The reality is his gravity is forcing Wimby's greatest strength, which is his rim protection, to be taken off the board. Now they're trying all these different options to get to keep Wimby in the paint. It's leaving OG Anunoby possibly having the greatest shooting stretch in NBA history for like anybody. But at the same time, he's wide open. He's wide open, you know?
Yeah.
he's
No,
the
the
third.
gravity from Cat is real. So like when you get into the second half and you're in that 2 point guard look with Brunson and Alvarado, you initiate the offense on one side, you get Wembanyama sucked into what's happening on the action on one side. You give it to Cat in the middle on top. That defender has to respect him. You give it to the opposite point guard on the other side, and all of a sudden there's an action there on the other side where there's very little help in the paint at that point because Cat's man has come up. Wembanyama has been sucked out to the first point guard, and so getting that ball from one side to the other kind of negates Wemby. It keeps Cat in the action, it gets him respected, and there's just a whole lot more space once that happened.
Yeah, and Spurs don't want to be caught in these rotations. Like Wemby's elite at recovering, but that takes energy. That takes energy, right? And the more times he's caught in these rotations, the more times he has to sprint back to his position, the more times you're just you're drawing dead there. And so, you know, I mean, again, this is an incredible game overall. I do want to get into like in the particulars with Wemby though. I feel like he for his safety, the Spurs probably need to lose this series because you can't just. I'm sorry, you can't treat another man like you cannot treat another competitor like that. It go unchallenged. Like basically, you get you don't get punished for it, and then like you go into the
So are
next
we
game with
talking
the
about
Knicks.
game three, the shove
Yeah,
to
game
Brunson?
three, the shove with Brunson.
Okay.
Going into game four, Knicks clearly charged up about that, and like charged up in a way where winning is secondary to like, hey, you got to respect me as a person, right? There are red lines. There are red lines. You do that. I'm just speaking. This is me back when I was in high school when I played sports all my life. You do that to another like competitor, specifically in male sports, it just brings out the toxicity on all sides there. And so like he took advantage of it, and like it felt like the Knicks got out of their game a little bit because they were throwing some extra cheap shots. They got called for it twice. They got called for it twice. Um, and like I even tweeted, I was like, you down 29, you might as well just hurt him. Like if he's not going to respect, like if he's not going to respect the rules within the game, like the, there are unwritten rules in sports, man. Like I know it gets talked a lot about in baseball, but like it's true in all sports. There are certain things you just cannot do to another competitor, like because it's like you're bringing stuff that doesn't belong in the sport into the sport, and so like it's good that they lost this game because guess what happened? Game four, second half, you're up 25 or whatever, and you throw a stupid elbow because you're lazy and you use your like the elbow on Cat, like I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional, but when you're reckless and you're like you're always looking to get that extra edge, you set yourself up to do something stupid like that. And like I felt like that was like that was beyond sloppy for his finals game to throw a cheap elbow like that. Understanding, I don't think it was intentional. I 100% think he was trying to get it, he's got 8 foot arms. He's trying to get, he's trying to maneuver him. But when you're constantly reaching and you're not being called for it, that's how you defend. And so he got caught reaching again. He tries to get away from it, commits the flagrant foul. That that carelessness from Wimby, he has to clean up because at this point he's lucky he's not getting suspended for the next game. Like he's 100%. He should be suspended for game five. He should have been suspended after the elbow he gave to Nas Reed earlier in the playoffs. This is on Adam Silver.
I mean,
Sorry, like
it's going to get worse, isn't it? Because now he's
it's on
1 point
Adam.
away.
You have to punish guys when they do stuff like this. Or guess what? They're going to keep pushing the red line. And so, like, to me, I'm like, all right,
They're
man.
not going to suspend him for a game,
I
though.
mean,
So it's like now he's just going to do whatever.
yeah, but my larger point is just that it's good for the league that the Knicks won this game because again, it was going to be another 48 plus hours of the refs, especially with the flagrant, the weaker flagrant that they called on Wemby compared to what he did, which was, I mean, he should have. You can make a case it should have been a flagrant two. He should have been tossed. Like I'm sorry. He clearly palmed the back of his head. That was ridiculous. That I've never seen that on a basketball floor. I have never seen that on a basketball floor or even on a football field either. Like there are things guys do on a football field that's dirty and disgusting. I've never seen that. That was childish. He got away with it, and so like now it's like to me. I'm like it's just good for like the sport in general that the Spurs aren't rewarded for bush league stuff like that. To me, like that's kind of my larger point, and it's on Silver to really have a firmer hand so that stuff like that happens. Because like as a commissioner, you have to understand winning isn't the top priority of every player who plays. You know, it's not. Like this is not hockey. It's not hockey, man. It's a different culture. It's a different culture. Winning is not the priority. Respect matters more to a lot of guys than winning or losing a game, whether they admit it consciously or not. Respect 100% matters more for some guys in that locker room compared to anything else, and they felt like Wemby was disrespecting them. So hopefully, with everything that happened tonight, we can get a good game five and the shenanigans can just go away. They play ball. But like Silver needs to be tougher with Wemby. He probably needs to be suspended going into next season. Just be like, all right, we're not suspending him for the finals. It's too late. But we gotta put down the law here. He's gotta lose some money. We gotta have a talk. Be like, hey, we we understand that you get cheap shot. You're 8 feet tall. Like we get it. Bigs get cheap shot. Clint Capella was cheap shot the entirety of his career. He never did crap like this. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not the first big man to feel like he's being getting slighted. Shaquille O'Neal got cheap shotted too. Shaq
Yep.
did a lot of things. At least Shaq did it squared up with people, right? What are we doing here? So that's kind of my larger point with that. But we can move on to other stuff.
I can't even remember if we brought it up or not. We certainly didn't linger on it very long. What is De'Aaron Fox doing with 10 seconds left shooting that shot?
I
Like he know I don't know.
I don't think he thought. I don't think he knew it was OG.
You don't
I
think
think
what?
I don't think he knew that was OG behind him. One, and I think like to me, I think De'Aaron Fox thought he was still 23 years old because he absolutely like. I mean, it was incredible that he got to the ball first. Like I want to start there. Like he did beat
Yeah.
everybody to the like that was a 50-50 ball that he didn't make a 50-50 ball. And so he has forward momentum going to the front of the rim. I think he thought I think he thought he could finish it. And like it's one of those things. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe the ankle. Like I'm trying to give his excuses here. It is obviously a bad play, right? But he does have bad ankles. Maybe he felt like I went so fast I cannot stop. I have to. So if I can't stop, I'm either going to travel. I might as well get the shot up. I do think. I do think it. He's not going to admit it, but like to me, I'm like maybe the ankle bothered him there, where it's like he can't stop on the dime or he feels like he doesn't have the stability. Because again, he full sprinted. Like credit him, he full sprinted to that ball. Beat because he was not he shouldn't have been the first man to the ball. Absolutely beat everybody down the floor, but unfortunately, like the ball slowed down. Didn't think it was OG. It was a bad play. It was a bad play. He'll admit it, but like I mean, Josh Hart made two bad plays at the same time, and they had a chance to win the game. I don't know what happened with the pass. I'm not sure if the pass was tipped or what. Like
Wait, what?
because the final play of the game.
Okay.
I mean, they had a chance to win the game, and I thought they designed a good play, but I don't
Yeah.
know if the inbound pass was tipped or not, uh, because it was just a bad pass and it gave Stephon Castle no shot, because it was a good design. But
Yes.
but like again, Josh Hart made bad plays too. There late to close. OG made an incredible play that was boosted by just another one, just Brunson smartly getting the ball up quickly. once he realized Wimby, two guys were going to be on him, just shoot the ball and, trust that one of your teammates is going to go flying and go get it. And OG absolutely clear lane. That's a dunk for, that's a dunk or a tip in for most forwards in the league. Like that's the benefit of having a big forward, right? At the end of the day, the guys skilled big forwards who are good at everything is a massive advantage. And like OG, credit to him, like he absolutely bailed the Knicks out with his play finishing. I mean, that's what he's an elite play finisher in this sport. So like credit to him and credit to the Knicks for like fighting throughout the game.
Uh, Assuming that the Spurs don't win this series, like what are their next steps going forward? I mean, obviously there's so much young talent on that roster, but it does still at the same time feel like the roster is flawed. Like it's very, very skewed towards playing one way and they can't adapt. Like it just, I don't know. Like what do you think that they're going to do to try to make a more complete team? Like they're going to be better 3 years from now just from being older and smarter and stronger. But like if you're in charge
They
of making decisions for that team, what do you try to do? What does that team need?
they just need more good basketball players first. So like I think that's where they're at right now. And unfortunately, they're paying again a average starting point guard. This is what $60 million going forward here. So it's just they gotta, it's not just internal development because that's not really the issue. Like they're getting good play from Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, even though they have flaws.
Yes.
But um, like it's tough because Wimby kind of, when you have somebody as dominant as Wimby, uh, it's going to be hard for them to continue to stack talent through the draft. They got to be shrewd in free agency. They have to find hidden gems, find more offensively slanted basketball players, and take advantage of Wimby's massive like defensive advantage going forward here. Because ideally, they would like for one of these somebody who can make a pull up jump shot. Like I feel like that not being able to consistently make pull up jumpers is killing them in this series. Combined with other, they again they need a backup center better than Luke Cornett, who like Luke Cornett was good last year, and I felt like he was fine this year. But it just goes to show in the playoffs is it's a different beast. You need
Very
more
different.
physically talented basketball players. Like you can't get away with scheming up, good backup center play in the playoffs. Hawks saw that. Like at the end of the day, Hawk series when a Congo goes on the bench, the Hawks had no shot against the Knicks because they had
Drawing
two
good.
good and the Hawks had one. So like I think that's where my point is like they just gotta keep drafting well and looking for talent and trying to build this up. But they got to build a more competitive roster because they've burned too many roster spots on guys who aren't NBA players, and it's hurting them. Um, you know, they got a lot of guys who are veterans in locker room like Harrison Barnes who might weird he's not playing more. I would say that just because it feels like though at the same time I think his defense just isn't on the level. But I don't know. Kelvin Johnson just looks terrible out there to me. But other than him, like they're burning Kelly Olynyk, not an NBA player anymore. Bismack Biyombo hasn't been an NBA player in the last 4 years now. Like, why is he still on the roster? Great, they didn't expect to be this good, understandably, but like they need to upgrade the back end of this bench with real NBA players that can help them so that they can so that they have options. Like that's the biggest issues. They don't have options. If somebody's having a bad night, they're screwed. If there's a bad stretch where they need something, if it's not from these starters, they're screwed, right? So they just to me more than anything else, more than player type, they do need somebody who can make pull up 3 pointers though. Outside of that, just in general, they just need to get more talent on the roster. Um, but I mean, they again, I said it before, like Wembanyama can win games by himself. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing is that he can't sustain the elite level of play he needs to play at against this Knicks team, who just has too much firepower. Like I just, to me, I just feel like I've felt that like this the entire time, and now with Brunson playing better, is Game Five is going to be tough for them because I don't know if they have a counter to these Jose Alvarado, Jalen Brunson lineups, particularly with the lack of options that the Spurs have. It's like, all right, we're going to play all three guards, and we're going to play Devin Vassell and Champagny. It's a small team. It's a small team, even with Wemby. And when you got Cat spaced out to the floor, it's going to be, especially not like I think Cat might actually get more offense production if he's playing with 2 point guards. Somebody who could just get him
Yes.
passing the ball when he's wide open under the rim when he has his man sealed. Like the issue uh, that the Knicks were running into the last couple of games was that they couldn't get him the ball, primarily because like Mikal Bridges' offense has just been a disaster again. Like he's just not a very good ball handler, not a very good passer. He's good at what he does, which is 3 and D, but this is not the series for him. Like the Spurs don't have that offensive engine that necessitates Bridges play. So like I think it's pretty smart for Brown again to punt on him, punt on he punted on Hart a little bit as well. But it just speaks to the Knicks' depth, which again, it's a bunch of minimum guys on the minimum. You know, Jordan Clarkson, anybody could have got Jordan Clarkson. Anybody could have got Jose Alvarado.
Anybody could have gotten Landry Shamet.
Yep. Anybody could have got Landry Shannon. It's credit to their GM, because this is a super tax team. There's limits to what they could do. They're helped by playing in the Garden, granted. They are helped by that. That is the competitive advantage that they're using with some of these minimal guys. But like again, like Deuce McBride is an incredible basketball player. Like
Yeah.
he's given them nothing. And Brown is like, all right, I gotta go with somebody else. And it's just it's just the difference in the series. Like combined with fundamentally, Wemby is still losing the Cat matchup. Like he just is. Now they're not playing like they're not really. He can't score. Well, one, he can't score on Cat at all. Like he just has nothing for him on offense outside of high screen pick and rolls where they
Yes.
were. But like that's more of a function of the defense behind Cat than Cat himself, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, So it's like he doesn't really outside of that, which you can only run. You can't run high screen pick and roll when you don't have elite pull up 3 point shooting. So it's just difficult for them to sustain that level of offense that's consistent. And then Cat's constantly pushing him out of the lane, something that Thunder really struggled with when it wasn't Isaiah Hartenstein guarding Wembanyama. Like that strength advantage is real. He can't set up. He just can't be around the rim and do whatever he wants. Cat's just pushing him out the rim. OG sneakily also pushing him out the rim as well when they're matched up. And he can't dribble against Cat on that side. And then on the other end, he can't guard Cat at all one on one. Like Cat's just too skilled. Um, and the Knicks, and also he doesn't want to be out on the perimeter defending Cat 30 feet away from the rim, taking away what he does best. And so like the Spurs are constantly having to play different style of junk defenses, which worked
Hmm.
until it does. Like junk defenses work until they don't, and then you have to play them straight up. Once you do, the game's over, and that's what it felt like. It was like, oh, the Knicks figured out what the Spurs are doing. Cat's not in foul trouble anymore. They're going to score on every possession. Now it's like on our offense to match them, and they couldn't. And like that's the game, and that's been the series. Like it's pretty consistent. Cats on the floor, the Knicks overwhelmingly better basketball team. That's going to be the difference in this series ultimately.
Just to backtrack on a couple of things, like on the roster building thing, I think the Spurs just need to get some playable forwards. And it's not because the small ball doesn't work with Wemby. Like certainly, I think they get something pretty close to optimal out of that, but he's got to go to the bench sometimes, and that four guard and Luke Cornett lineup just isn't going to make it happen. And Keldon Johnson hasn't been good either. It's like they've got to find, some forward talent that can play when Wemby goes to the bench.
It's something where it's like, Jonathan Kuminga is probably going to be available. Do you swing a trade for somebody as talented as Jonathan Kuminga, understanding his flaws? But like, I think Kuminga would absolutely help this Spurs team right now. Like
For
full
sure.
stop. He's basically Kevin Johnson, but better at basketball, uh, on both ends. Understanding the price tag is pretty high.
Hmm.
Do you make? I think to me, if I'm the Spurs, I'm like, we got to make a swing somewhere. At the same time, like understanding like we can make swings at guards, we can make swings at centers. They're readily available. Forwards is a different story. That's where if I'm the Hawks, I'm like, hey, we got this Kaminga. We don't necessarily need him. We would like him back on a cheaper deal, but if you guys are looking for somebody to help you in these, because there's going to be series even in the Western Conference going forward where they're going to need a power forward of Kaminga's size and skill level. And so like that's somebody. If I'm the Spurs, that's somebody I should at least have one eye on to see if he's available and see if we can swing a trade for him. Um, because Carter Bryant, even like Carter Bryant's just one. He's just not skilled enough offensively, and then his defense, he way over relies on his physical tools, and he's just not in the right position too often. And like maybe he can get better at that, but you know, at the highest level, like that's the issue. It's like at the highest level, like elite offensive players are just going to burn him far too often than him being useful. And then offensively, he's just so far away. So like, if I was Spurs, I'm looking at the Hawks, looking at Ricochet. Like, are the Hawks interested in keeping him going forward? Like, they got to take some risks here. And I do think the Hawks Spurs trade could make sense for both teams, considering what both teams need. Hawks probably just want to get off the salary ultimately and go in a different direction. They have forwards. They don't necessarily need Kaminga going forward here. Uh, but we'll see if they decide to go that route. But I'm with you, Kevin. They need a forward. They could absolutely use somebody like Jonathan Kaminga right now in this series. Maybe I don't know if that'll swing the series in their favor, but I think it'll help alleviate one of their bigger weaknesses right now, which is just the lack of forward play. Like OG can shoot over a guard. He's too good. He's too good. And like there are other teams who have forwards like OG, then they're rare. But there are other guys in this league, Kawhi Leonard being the premier example. You don't want to lose a series to a lesser basketball team just because you don't have that option in your toolbox. And so they got to fill it out somehow.
The other thing that I like about the 2 point guard look for the Knicks is that I guess I'm a little bit surprised by it, but like there's a whole lot of times that the Spurs are guarding Cat in the paint with somebody who should have absolutely no business guarding Cat in the paint. And they're being real physical. They're doing it's the playoffs. We know we can get away with lots of shoving, being really physical. And yet they still shouldn't be able to uh, guard Cat with some of these players. But when you've only got the 1 point guard out there, if Wemby is anywhere on the side with the ball, it's just so hard to get the ball down to Cat. Like he takes away so many angles. Like if he's on the strong side corner, you got to be afraid about him dropping back to the rim. Like if it's like a pick and roll action from a 45-degree angle, like it's just the passing angles to get that ball to Cat on the opposite side, they're just so hard to come by. And so if you're doing more side to side stuff, it's just going to open up more angles for the entry passes that they just don't have at the moment because, you know, certainly there are lots of things to knock about Wemby, but he's so unbelievably long and he has such an unbelievable feel for defense that those angles that should be there for a cat mismatch, just getting the ball to him is way too hard. It's really hard to do that.
Look, Wemby still has his flaws defensively, but I mean, he's the best defensive player in the sport for a reason. He takes up
Yep.
space nobody has ever done in the NBA ever. Nobody's ever taken space like that. Like there are passing lanes that just aren't there because Wemby's in the game. There was one possession where Jalen Brunson threw a turnover and he was trying to throw a no look. It ended up getting intercepted before he got there. He was trying to throw a no look, but like Wemby was right there, and he probably was going to steal the ball if he got to him. And like Wemby was guarding two guys comfortably because they're in this. They were not next to each other, but one of them wasn't spaced to a corner, so he's able to guard two guys with his arm length. So it's just Wemby's a beast on that end of the floor. But like you said, Kevin, I mean, because with Alvarado, one, he gets the ball up the floor faster. The ball pressure just does not affect him the way it does Brunson. I think that's a trait that you're going to see a lot of other NBA teams are going to start noticing. Guys who can and cannot deal with ball pressure. And Alvarado's other skill is that defensively, he's a good defender, even though he's like 6 feet tall. He's a good defender. Like you
Yeah.
can't bully him, can't drive through him, and uh he plays with good strength. Like he does not give up dribble drives. You can shoot over the top, but unfortunately, Spurs don't have good shooters. Their guards aren't good shooters. So it's like if it's just a strength advantage thing, Alvarado's going to win that matchup. So um, again, the Pelicans just gave him away. Pelicans just gave him away.
Just
And
call Joe Dumars every day, see what you can get. One of the, one day there should be a deal there that's worth taking. Just
right.
off season, put it on the calendar for every single day of the month. Call Joe.
That
Call Joe.
that
Call Joe.
that hurt every team in the NBA that they gave up somebody as good as Jose Alvarado for nothing. Like literally just gave him away, and it's just like I'm positive other team. Maybe it was they were doing a Jose a solid. He's from New York. This is his team, but still, it's just like my goodness. I mean, it's gonna be one of the reasons why Knicks gonna win the championship. But credit to everybody but the owner for the Knicks for building an incredible team. Like you got to give Leon Rose his flowers. Now, it's been relatively unconventional. You fire a coach after an Eastern Conference Finals run, but Mike Brown's had all the answers. Like he just has. So credit to them and credit to the Knicks.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining me very late into the night, and I guess we should say goodnight, Bob.
Good night, Bob.